only give you news at the speed of nanosecond, but we also break it down with up-to-date analysis, informed opinions, and distinct professionalism. That's why you love us. At about 88.9 FM, your go-to station.
It's midday. Good afternoon. Here is Global News, and I am Moninkola Ogidon in the news. Ayedatiwa shops for deputy. United States state of Maine bans Donald Trump from contesting election. 150,000 Palestinians flee central Gaza as Israeli forces advance.
This is the news.
Following the demise of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State on Wednesday, no fewer than 5 of his aides have tendered their resignations. The ex-governor, who had a protracted battle with prostate cancer, died in Germany where he had been receiving treatment. Following the emergence of Ayedatiwa as new governor, some of Akeredolu's aides dropped their resignation letters. They include Akeredolu's chief press secretary, Richard Olatunde, and the ex-governor's special advisor on union matters and special duties, Mr. Dari Aragbaye. Others are the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Mr. Aminu Raimi, the Special Assistant on Photography, Mr. Olawale Obolade, and the Senior Special Assistant on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Doyin Odeboale. The development indicated that they were not ready to work with the new governor. Some of them cited their loyalty to Akeredolu as the reason for their resignation. Meanwhile, it was gathered on Wednesday that Ayedatiwa had begun to shop for a deputy governor. A source in the governor's office said the governor might pick one of the cabinet members, adding that Ayedatiwa had been holding meetings with political stakeholders in and outside the state in a search for a suitable and loyal deputy governor. According to the source, the governor is looking towards either the northern or central senatorial districts of the state. In Lagos, the state task force has given occupants of Power Complex 24 hours to vacate the place. Power Complex is a popular computer village. And still taking stories from Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has expressed concern over the alarming figure of out-of-school children in the country. He said this while receiving members of the National Working Committee (NWC) of the APC in Lagos. Tinubu declared that the issue must be addressed by establishing more schools, recruiting teachers, and providing at least one meal a day for the school children. The president's position is made known in a statement by spokesperson Ajuri Ngelale. The statement also adds that democracy must be progressive and inclusive, with primary focus on pragmatically addressing poverty through the provision of job opportunities for youths and quality education for all Nigerians. Now, away from Nigeria, weeks after a deadly drone attack on November 30 killed 5 civilians in the town of Wegel Tena in Ethiopia's Amara region, about 570 kilometers north of the capital Addis Ababa, a witness is still reeling from the trauma. The eyewitness said it is extremely difficult to describe the scene of the aftermath. He said bodies were burned so badly that they turned to dust. He added that he saw the finger bones of one of the victims still shaped as though it was still clutching a mobile phone. Maine's top election official has ruled that Donald Trump cannot run for president next year in the state, citing a constitutional insurrection clause. Secretary of State Shena Bellows said Mr. Trump was not eligible because of its actions leading up to the U.S. Capitol riots in 2021. Maine now joins Colorado as the 2 states to ban Mr. Trump from the ballot. The decisions increase pressure on the Supreme Court to weigh in. Colorado votes reliably Democratic. However, Maine is more politically competitive and would be more significant for Mr. Trump, the Republican frontrunner, to lose. Hours after Maine's decision, California announced that Trump would remain on the ballots. You're on to Global News from Adaba 88.9 FM Akure, and we're transmitting from Elara Mokin. After the break, 150,000 Palestinians flee central Gaza as Israeli forces advance. Details in just a moment. Please join us again.
The news on Adaba 88.9 FM.
Many thanks for staying tuned. For news update and live streaming, please visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can be part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/AdabaFM88.9 on Facebook, at Adaba889FM on Instagram and on X, and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. To provide us information via email, newsroom@adaba889.fm. And now to the rest of the news. At least 35 people have been killed in Nuseirat and Benghazi refugee camps following Israeli bombings in central Gaza. An Israeli attack has hit a residential building near the Kuwaiti hospital in southern Gaza, killing at least 20. Israeli soldiers have fired at an aid convoy as they return from northern Gaza along a route designated by the Israeli army. This is according to Thomas White, director of UNRWA affairs in Gaza. In Gaza, at least 21,320 people have been killed and 55,603 injured in Israeli attacks since October 7. The death toll from Hamas's attack on Israel stands at 1,139. And now the United Nations says an estimated 150,000 Palestinians are being forced to flee areas of central Gaza as Israeli forces advance on refugee camps there. Witnesses and Hamas's armed wing reported that tanks had reached the eastern outskirts of Burej camp. Israel's military recently expanded its ground offensive to target Burej and nearby Nuseirat and Benghazi camps. The Hamas-run health ministry said Israeli bombardments also killed dozens of people across Gaza on Thursday. Egypt has confirmed that it has put forward a three-stage proposal to stop the fighting, which ends with a ceasefire. A Hamas delegation is said to have arrived in Cairo to give its response to the plan. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has called for the evacuation of a strip of land stretching across central Gaza that includes Burej and Nuseirat camps. It also told the almost 90,000 residents and 61,000 displaced people in the affected areas to move southwards to the town of Deir al-Balah. However, on Thursday, the United Nations warned that they had nowhere to go because Deir al-Balah was already overcrowded with several hundred thousands displaced people sheltering there. Russia has launched a wave of attacks on several cities across Ukraine in a widespread overnight assault. A nationwide air alert was in place as drones and missiles struck Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv and Lviv in the early hours of today. Reports say across the country several people were injured and at least 2 were killed. The overnight attacks came days after Ukraine struck a Russian warship in the occupied Crimean port of Feodosia. And our sports. The Confederation of African Football says Nigeria ranks 4th in terms of tickets purchased ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast next year. The 34th edition of the AFCON has been slated to hold January 13th to February 11th, 2024 across 5 cities on the south coast of West Africa, and CAF on their official handle on Thursday tweeted ticket purchases. CAF said ticket sales for Nigeria are among the top 5 on the continent. According to the data on the football governing body X handle, a total of 12,544 tickets have been purchased by the country. The host nation, Ivory Coast, leads the pack with a formidable 32,307 tickets sold, closely followed by Guinea-Bissau 28,614 and Equatorial Guinea 16,237 in second and third places respectively. Champions Senegal completed the top 5 in the number of tickets purchased with 10,959 figures. Coincidentally, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria, who are leading countries in tickets purchased, are all paired in Group A. And now to end global news, a recap of our top stories. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has begun search for his deputy. We also brought you news that Maine's top election official has ruled that Donald Trump cannot run for president next year in the state, citing a constitutional insurrection clause. And finally, United Nations says an estimated 150,000 Palestinians are being forced to flee areas of central Gaza as Israeli forces advance on refugee camps there. And that ends Global News as edited by Sunday Ajiboye. I am Moninkola Ogidon. Many thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
tó o bárajà lọ́wọ́ oníbàárà rẹ